This is Awesome St. John, Jason, the original Red Ranger. You are watching the Morphin Network.
Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.
Friend is fiend with the letter R. Love is evil spelled backwards. Live is evil spelled backwards. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rider Time Podcast. Today, we'll be covering none other than the 10th episode of Kamen Rider Revice, Brother and Brother, A Heart That Believes. What did you guys think of the episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What are your thoughts? And of course, as always, we got to talk about Mr. Nice Vice himself, who starts the episode off. And there's so much to talk about. And yes, we are using a new format. So if you've just watched the new episode of our Dino Fury review, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, well, you just stick around and you'll see what I'm talking about. So my thoughts on the episode. There's a lot to speak of. There's quite a number of things that happened. Actually, not that many things have happened, but there's plenty of things to talk about in that episode, and things are building up to a lot of things happening, and I love that schema building for the plot. So let's get right into it. So of course, the very first thing that we notice happen is the fact that he was using his finishing move, Kamen Rider Revy, on his brother. But of course, Evil tried to change the fact that, he demorphed and it's like, brother, wait. And of course, he was faking it. So my question to you guys is, I would like to ask you guys, did you think that Icky was fooled by that act? Or was he just hesitant, like he just didn't want to risk it in general? So that's the first thing I'd like to ask you guys, because it always goes one of two ways. Because Icky tends to be a lot smarter than this, but this time it's like you can't be too sure because he's not really familiar with the different ways of with how exactly his body's being possessed or how much of a fight he's putting into it. But of course, one thing I do like about that same fight scene is the use of the Amazon mole drill thing. And my question to you guys is, I know that they're going to release this with a Scorpion Vice stamp with Kamen Rider X, and of course a Turtle Vice stamp with Kamen Rider V3. So what do you guys think? Do you think what do you think their abilities are? Do you think that V3 might make a shield? Or what will the Scorpion be? Do you think it's going to be like a spear, like the Rydell, or maybe a whip? Who knows? But I find it very interesting. And of course, I find that every episode we learn that Vice has a new ability, because now not only does he have the ability to go inside electronic devices, but also he could go into people's minds in order to read their feelings. So when do you think he managed to develop that ability? Do you think he had it from the beginning? And do you think he might be able to use that in further episodes for plot-related purposes? Of course, Sakura feels frustrated with Icky's reservation, which of course leads me to ask the question of whether or not Sakura will become a Kamen Rider. I mean, at this point, a lot of people might know the answer to this, but at this point, we don't really know for sure. So what's going on here? But I do like the fact that they do have a fight scene with her and Aguilar. But again, do you think that they should keep it as Sakura versus Aguilar as a rivalry, or do you think that she should have been rivals with Jose instead? And of course, my other question is, with Proposition, she asks, do you think that she's going to be evil for an episode or two if she becomes a writer, or do or which will be good from the beginning, because as we've seen, Daiji turned evil at first. But of course, Daiji is trying to put up a fight, mentally speaking. And of course, we see some really cool rider suits and fights. And we see the Brachio monster combining like I thought they would, and it was a really cool fight. And from there on, we actually do see Daiji actually putting up a fight. Do you think that this was well timed? Because I really like the way this played off, but it makes me wonder: is Kaguru gone for good? Do you think he's gone for good, or will he come back? Do you think he might have to rely on Kaguru coming back at some point? Because it's called the two-side driver, so it's kind of weird if he only uses one side all the time. But we do see this form of Kamen Rider Revi and Vice in Brachio form, and I honestly really like how similar it is to his Grand Geo by how long the watch part is. So, what do you guys think of the costume design for Kamen Rider Revi and Vice in Brachio form? Of course, it's super powerful, and I love that about it. And they have a really cool finisher. But of course, by having Daiji use, regaining control, we have a beautiful brotherly moment. Do you think it was well earned? Do you think there's going to be still a little bit of friction between them, in that, it's like, you should have let me die, or like, why didn't you save me sooner? Or do you think that Phoenix might have some reservations about the fact that he became evil in the first place? You'd think that he might turn evil again. So those are some things to think about. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments. But of course, he does become Kamen Rider Live, which is evil spelled backwards. And what do you guys think of the suit? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Does it remind you too much of Anjumon for some reason? Because I feel like this suit. Hold on, I feel like this suit definitely reminded me of something from another tokusatsu, but I'm not quite sure what. Might have even been a Korean tokusatsu. But it's nice to see. It's nice to see George be happy about something, and of course, the commander owes him some money because I'm pretty sure they held bets. I personally thought that the finisher was actually pretty cool here, and of course, especially when he uses his rider kick, because this gives me Kiva vibes all over the place. And of course, George finally ends up getting to celebrate that he has all 10 Vice stamps completed. Yes, I actually have all 10 of them as well. So what do you think is the next thing that's going to happen with Revice? Actually, I'm actually quite curious. What do you think the next major upgrade is going to be to the Revice driver? Because I know you attach your stamp here, but what kind of other attachments do you think will end up going here when he gets his mid forms and final form? I'm genuinely curious. Or do you think he might use a different belt altogether? Let us know about that. And of course, we get a family reunion, but of course, Icky disappears again. What's going on? Because we saw this happen before when he signed the contract with Phoenix, but now he disappears in another photo. So what do you think this might mean for Icky and Revice altogether? Do you think this is his suit, like, trying to absorb him altogether? As like the more times he uses it, the more he's dying, like Kamen Rider Zero, or is he just losing a bit of himself from having certain contracts, kind of like a signing your soul to the devil sort of thing? So I'm curious where that's gonna go. And do you think Vice is gonna take over before the final form episode, like way into the 30s? Let us know what you think. But yes, this has been episode 10. So my thoughts on the episode was actually pretty interesting. I really liked this episode. The choreography was really good. I love the energy. I love the way they moved people around in this episode. Like Like they needed to have a good reason for Vice to move away from Revy so that you have a one-on-one brother versus brother fight. And of course, we needed to incapacitate demons in order to have a reason to show off both the what's called the Brachio Vice stamp and the live form. I don't know. Do you think evil and live are two different forms of the same rider, or are they two different riders altogether by that just happen to use the same person and belt? So that's something I might be wondering about. But all in all, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I have nothing to complain about. I mean, if I were to nitpick, it would probably be the whole Aguilera versus Sakura thing because I feel like if anything, she should be rivals with Julio because of the fact that Julio was, in her dojo trying to be buddy with her. But, let's see where the things play out. And of course, next week's episode, we are getting a new driver. So let's look at what the audience have to say. Prathamesh says, hi, Mike. Let's see. Kumakan says, let's do it live. Tangible character development in my Kamen Rider. It's more likely than you think. Yes. Yes. Demon Fusion. Let's see. I kind of feel George and the others aren't actually good guys. Potentially the other evil guys. Oh, so you're thinking it's kind of like how you got Team Skull and the Aether Foundation? Because I totally called it that the Aether Foundation were the real bad guys, if anything. And I was right. And by the way, new Pokemon games came out. I actually got my own copies. I got Ixa vibes. I had that too, but I didn't have that in mind right away. But I was thinking Ixa, but also he's really batty because of the Bat Vice stamp, and of course his rider kick reminds me of Emperor Kiva. George has all 10, and so can you. Beg your parents, kids. Yes. Oh man, it's actually really cool looking, like from a bottom up view or from a top down view. And yes, this of course is not counting the Bata Vice stamp because it doesn't count. So I have 11 Vice stamps all in all. Oh, L'Oreal, hiya! I haven't seen you in a while. Did you hear about the swordfish like stamp they got? Yes, yeah, Kajiki. It's going to be based off of Kamen Rider Saber, and I'm pretty sure you want to get it for very obvious reasons. But what did you think of the episode? Because I haven't heard from you in a while. Let's see. I got word it's about my best friend co-writer for a Tokuger adaptation. The final form might be a Zexel type power-up, but I think the disappearing Icky is related to his siblings. Maybe. I think life can be akin to Deno forms. Okay. I was told that Swordfish Stamp is Revice modeled after bluish. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All those stamps. How did you pay for all those? I got a new job. That's how. Hi L'Oreal. Glad you're back. Yes, we're all glad that you're back. I've missed both of you because I know one of you had work, presumably, and the other is too busy watching Doctor Who. By the way, I really love Dan. I love Dan. He's a fun character. And honestly, if there was a version of Doctor Who where it's Joe Martin and John Bishop, I would watch that. Have your opinions on whether you like or dislike the Jodie Whittaker era. As far as Joe Martin and John Bishop are concerned, I like Joe Martin as the Doctor. I like John Bishop as a companion. So, but yes, still uneasy about Vice though. Yeah, a lot of us are. Okay, it was the best of the Chibnall era. Yeah, it kind of was. Not gonna lie. Yeah. Okay, so that's basically it for the comments. Thank you all for watching, and of course, thank you for watching the Dino Fury review that just happened about an hour ago. And of course, coming soon, another review for Zenkaiger. And next week the week after we'll be doing another episode of Dino Fury, which will be the story finale before we do the Christmas actual finale. And of course, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course we got some many interviews with various voice actors and actual actors from Power Rangers. Most recently, we uploaded an interview we did with Tim, Todd, and Ted DeFilippos, who played Trey of Heart, Wisdom, and Courage, not necessarily in that order. And be sure to check that out. Those were really fun. It was really fun meeting them, and definitely check out that video. And of course, the algorithms hate us, so be sure to ding the bell icon. Other than that, if you like my content, be sure to follow me on Instagram at chrono_cosplay and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. And there's not much more to say other than thank you for being our audience and enjoy your Thanksgiving break. Have a good one. Bye.
Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.